For 7 days, a man fed a wolf that was imprisoned. They reconnected in the jungle years later. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. A guy named Chris was a very young traveler 40 years ago. He just so happened to visit Alaska. The tourist was drawn to the area's enigmatic natural beauty, but his primary objective was gold, which Chris and a group of enthusiasts dug there. They generally stayed in small groups since it was risky to venture out into the wilderness by yourself. However, it so happened that the man left the cabin, with his buddy staying behind. Many of them were just tired and wanted to relax since they had colds. Chris made the decision to go on a quick expedition, even though he was aware of the risks. At that moment, he had no idea that he would encounter a predator rather than diamonds. Chris was trudging in the snow. He was walking slowly toward the riverbank, 2 kilometers from the camp, when, all of a sudden, he noticed a big dog. He was taken aback. In the woods, what could a lonely dog be up to? Chris guessed its owners could be in the area. The animal displayed hostile behavior. The guy, inexperienced and young, made the decision to descend the hill and investigate. However, it maintained a 20-meter gap. Chris froze when he got a better look at the animal. Upon closer inspection, what appeared to be a large gray dog was actually a massive wild wolf. The beast saw the man and gave a nasty growl, baring its teeth. The gold digger just closed his eyes, seeing as there was no way out. It did not, however, move. Upon opening his eyes, the man saw that the untamed animal had become entangled in a trap set by poachers. Not only was it a mother wolf feeding her young, but it was also a male wolf. Although it was clear that the animal needed assistance, the she-wolf refused to let the man approach, and he was not at all fond of the notion either. Chris was sweating, and his mouth was dry. Put yourself in his shoes. He was alone in the wilderness, and no one could save him, even if there were other wolves nearby. What, though, could he do? Would you let the poor animal perish? Maybe that's what another person would do. Chris, nevertheless, concluded that the puppies may still be alive and that the wolf lair might be nearby. All he had to do was locate them and return them to their mother. The paw prints covered a large area. The man was mentally battling himself, asking, "What am I doing?" He could feel the fear setting in as he followed the footprints farther and farther away from the camp. Before he could locate the den containing the puppies, the man had to trek through many kilometers of snow. As Chris approached, the little puppies were scared, just like any other baby would be, and fled into the den to avoid the large, frightening stranger. There was no time to second guess. He pulled out a bag he carried and placed the puppies inside. It took him about an hour to return, during which the puppies cried out, squirmed around in the bag, and even attempted to snarl. The man heard a loud groan even before he reached the mother wolf. The mother most certainly felt her pups. The 4 puppies ran to their mother, wailing loudly as the man unfastened the sack containing the small ones. Right away, they buried themselves in her tummy and started making loud chewing noises. The mother wolf caressed her pups and observed the traveler's actions with caution. The man made many attempts to assist the wolf in freeing herself from the trap, but each time the wolf noticed him approaching, she snarled. To his astonishment, the wolf declined to consume the remnants of meat that our hero had thrown to her, perhaps thinking there was a catch. Chris remained there till the late hours of the night, observing the family. He went back to his camp when it grew dark, but he kept what had transpired to himself. When everyone left to work the following day, Chris made the decision to eat more and return to the wolf. The mother was warming up her puppies when the gold digger saw that the meat had been consumed. This continued for a few days. The young man would feed the animal every morning, but she would not stop growling at him. But the puppies started to trust the man every day. On the 3rd day, they licked his hands and leaped all over him with joy. The mother watched the puppies closely whenever the guy petted them, and she beckoned the smaller ones over as soon as his hands touched them. The stranger lacked her trust. The guy looked up once and saw the mother wolf waggling her tail a little. It was successful. Chris approached the beast very carefully, gasping for air. At last, He unlatched the trap and released the mother. She yelled for her puppies to follow her as she dashed off for a short distance. The whole family hid together in the dense jungle. Chris didn't see them again. The man went back to his Jersey home a week later. He had already moved on from this narrative, only sometimes sharing it with his closest friends, but none of them found it credible. It has been 5 years since these incidents. After starting to work for a finishing firm, our hero found himself back in Alaska, not too far from that location. The man had to deliver a letter to the nearby village one day. He rode out on the snowmobile early in the morning, but it broke down en route. He made every attempt to restart it, but it was unresponsive. It was really chilly. It was growing dark, but the settlement was just a few kilometers away. After a kilometer, he noticed a shadowy figure obstructing his path. Being alone, away from the settlement, especially after dark, meant suicide, as everyone in the area knew. There was no way out of a pack of wolves, and danger lurked everywhere. Chris sensed and recognized that a pack of predators was watching him intently, and that realization sent him into a panic. He observed as they deftly encircled him, circling their target and gradually closing in on him. In his mind, he counted 5 big wolves. Chris was already bidding adieu to life. His heartbeat and labored breathing were so intense that he collapsed to his knees and was unable to stand. A predator was moving toward him. It halted a few meters away, but it took its time attacking the man. Chris was as shocked as he was, yet he could identify the wolf's gaze. That mother wolf was still there. It was unmistakably her, even though she was considerably older and her fur had become gray. The beast stiffened as it observed the man intently. After less than a minute of staring at each other, she waved her tail a few times and bolted back into the forest, dragging the rest of the pack with her. This time, the journeyer arrived at the settlement without incident, and the saved animal vanished forever into the snow. As fate would have it, a wolf and her young were spared from certain death one day by a man, and the wolf gave him back many years later. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.